What is up, guys? Hope you are doing well. Today we'll continue working with our arrow swipe game, and more specifically we are going to add this progress bar countdown timer. So without further ado, let's go! Okay, let's begin by adding the HTML markup for the progress bar. This will actually be very simple. Here, before the score element, let's add a div element with ID progress bar container, which will contain a div element as a child with ID progress bar. And that's all. Let's save and open the browser. Obviously, we can't see anything since we didn't add any content. Here we are. Okay, now let's proceed to CSS. The elements we want to style are the progress bar container and the progress bar. Let's set the background color for the container element to this light gray and let's save. We can't see anything yet because the container element doesn't have any height. So let's give the progress bar a height of, let's say, 30 pixels. And the container element will automatically adjust. Nice. Now I would prefer it if progress bar didn't occupy the entire line. So currently width is 100% since it is a block level element. And by the way, it's 100% of its containing block element. In this case, it's 100% of the game container. So now let's change this to, let's say, 80%. Okay, and let's center it using the margin property. Nice, but I would also like to add some margin to the bottom, so let's rewrite this. Margin top 0, right auto, bottom 10 pixels, and left auto. And let's continue with the progress bar element and let's give it a background color. Again, width will be 100% of its container element's width. So now if we set it to 70%, we get this, 30% this, 10% this, and you can see where I'm getting at. Width is the property we are going to use later in order to animate the progress bar countdown with JavaScript. So starting from 100%, width will gradually decrease over time until it eventually becomes 0 as soon as we run out of time. And that's all basically. However, I would prefer a thinner progress bar, so let's decrease the height to 8 pixels. And let's round the corners using the border radius property. And let's set it to 5 pixels. Okay. And now let's proceed to JavaScript. For starters, let's store the progress bar element into a variable for easier access. Next, let's define the game duration. And let's make it quick, just 10 seconds. And by the way, these are global variables and therefore they could be placed at the top of our file. However, let's keep the progress bar countdown related code all together in one place. Now, in order to calculate the progress bar width over time, we'll write it as a fraction. So let progress bar width numerator, and I know this is a long name, just trying to be descriptive, equals, and let's set it to game duration times 1000 to make it in milliseconds. This will be the initial value and it will be gradually decreasing until it gets to 0. And I obviously used the let keyword since this variable will be reassigned. Similarly, let's define the denominator, but this will be constant and will always be equal to the game duration in milliseconds. And finally, let's define the setInterval method. So const progress bar interval equals setInterval. So the progress bar frame function will be called every 10 milliseconds until the clearInterval method is called or the browser window is closed. And let's implement the progress bar frame function. So every time the progress bar frame function is called, the progress bar width numerator will be decreased by 10. Now let's recalculate the current progress bar width and store it into a variable. Equals the numerator divided by the denominator. And finally, let's reset the width property of progress bar element. So progress bar element dot set attribute, style is the attribute we want to set, and let's use template literals here. Width, here will go the expression and it should be a percentage. Now the expression here will be current progress bar width, but since it is a percentage, let's multiply it by 100. Okay, but what's missing here is the escape condition. We want to stop calling this function as soon as progress bar width numerator gets to 0. So let's do this. If progress bar width numerator is less than or equal to 0, in this case we want to clear interval. Otherwise, continue with the execution of the function. Okay, let's save and test. And let's open the console to see if we get any errors. No errors here. Everything seems to be working fine. Okay, but I would prefer it if color changed from green to orange and from orange to red as we are running out of time. So let's do this. If current progress bar width is less than or equal to 0.10, in other words, if remaining time is less than or equal to 10% of game duration, so in the case where game duration is 10 seconds, we are talking about 1 second. Well, in this case, besides the width, we also want to change the background color to red. And similarly, if current progress bar width is less than or equal to 0.25, we want the orange color. Otherwise, we just want to change the width and keep the green color. And let's save and test. We expect the orange color somewhere here. Okay, very nice. Now, just one more small modification. Instead of instantly transitioning from one color to another, I would prefer it if this happened a bit more gradually. So let's do this. We will only use CSS for this purpose. To the progress bar element, we will add the transition duration property and set the value to half a second. And we'll also add the transition property, and the property we're interested in is background color. And let's save and test. We expect the transition to orange somewhere here. Excellent. Now, one last thing. Notice that although time is up, we can continue swiping and playing the game. So what we want to do now is to remove event listeners as soon as we run out of time. So let's do this. And this is actually very simple. All we have to do is copy the event listeners, paste them over here, and instead of adding them, to remove them. And I think that's all. Let's save and test. No errors in the console. Progress bar looks fine. We can play the game. And as soon as time expires, we can't play it anymore. Alright, we are done. However, up to this point, if we want to play again, we have to refresh the page. For this purpose, in the next part, we will add a restart game button with the corresponding functionality. Okay guys, thanks for watching. For any questions, suggestions, or just to say hi, please use the comment section below. Hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe if you want more. Till next time, keep coding, keep improving, and enjoy the journey. Take care. Bye.